In the year 1913, one quiet meeting changed the future of money forever. No cameras, no press, no votes, just a handful of powerful men, rewriting the rules of the global economy. Most Americans never learned this story in school. But everything you earn, save, or spend today still echoes from that night. Welcome to History's Echo, where the past doesn't stay buried because power always leaves fingerprints. On a cold November night in 1910, a private train left New Jersey under strict secrecy. The destination was Jekyll Island, a private resort owned by America's richest elites. The passengers were told to use fake names. Servants were dismissed. No records were kept. Why? Because what they were about to design would shape the financial destiny of the United States, and eventually, the world. Among the men on that train were representatives of the most powerful banking families in history. Morgan interests, Rockefeller interests, Rothschild-connected banking houses. They were not politicians. They were financiers. At the time, America had no central bank. Money was unstable. Bank runs were common. And in 1907, a massive financial panic nearly collapsed the US economy. The public blamed Wall Street, but behind closed doors, Wall Street blamed the system. So they decided to rebuild it. Over the next 9 days on Jekyll Island, these men drafted the blueprint for what would later become the Federal Reserve System. They didn't call it that yet. They called it banking reform. But this was not a government-led project. It was a private design, later sold to the public as a solution to chaos. In 1913, while most Americans were distracted by Christmas preparations, Congress passed the Federal Reserve Act. President Woodrow Wilson signed it into law. The Federal Reserve was born. Officially, it was created to stabilize the economy, control inflation, and prevent bank failures. Unofficially, it transferred the power to create money from elected government to a central banking system influenced by private financial interests. For the first time in US history, money was no longer tied directly to physical value. It was tied to confidence, and confidence is fragile. Over the next century, the Federal Reserve would influence interest rates, inflation, recessions, housing markets, employment, global debt. Every boom, every crash, every bailout. During the Great Depression, the Fed failed to act decisively. Millions lost jobs, banks collapsed, families starved. During World War II, the Fed helped finance war through massive debt expansion. In 1971, another historic moment arrived. President Richard Nixon ended the gold standard. The US dollar was no longer backed by gold, only by faith. From that moment on, money became numbers, debt became policy, and inflation became invisible taxation. Today, the average American works harder than ever, yet feels poorer. Wages rise slowly, prices rise fast. Debt is normal, savings feel pointless. And most people never ask why. Because the system is complex by design. The Federal Reserve is not fully public. It is not fully private. It answers to no voters. Even today, many economists argue over who truly benefits from this structure. What history teaches us is not that the Fed is evil or good. It teaches us something far more dangerous. When financial power becomes invisible, accountability disappears. Empires rarely collapse from invasion. They collapse from inside, through debt, inflation, and loss of trust. Rome learned this lesson too late. So did Spain, so did France. History doesn't repeat itself, but it always echoes. The next time prices rise, the next time the market crashes, the next time politicians say, "It's complicated." Remember this story, because the most powerful decisions in history are often made far away from the public eye. This is History's Echo. Follow to hear the past before it happens again.